Good evening to all the viewers out there. Hope everyone are fine and safe in their home. We are back with once again another interesting session where we invite a new guest every week who shares their experience with us. With same energy and same intensity, let's begin by inviting the one and only Shriyadi, who is a psychotherapist here with Perself. Let's invite Shriya. Yeah. So Shriyadi is here with us.
Hi, good evening, Pratik.
Good evening, Di. Good evening, Di. तो क्या हालचाल? How are you?
बढ़िया
How are you doing?
great.
या आपके चेहरे से ही दिख रहा है वो तो सो दी हम सब वीकेंड का वेट करते रहते हैं यू नो लाइक वी वी आर बिजी विद अ वीक with a work and with a heavy workload and everyone waits for the weekend कि हम कब अपने फ्रेंड्स के साथ बाहर जाएंगे and you know when we get to hang around with our friends. No, I'm sure you might have also been waiting for your weekend to arrive. So what did you do in your week? How was your week altogether?
Pratik, this time I did not wait for my weekends because the last
Okay.
session was so inspiring that it kept me up, motivated for all my work, and somehow or the other, I was always keeping myself up, motivated, and I was remembering what Mr. Abhishek had told us in the last session. So I think, no, I was pretty excited with my week.
Absolutely, absolutely. What Abhishek had told us, it definitely inspired and motivated a lot of youth, and I'm sure it will continue to inspire. So, today we are going to talk about humor and psychology, you know. So, it's kind of weird when we talk about how can someone be humorous and think about mental health at the same time. So, we would like to know from you, how does humor and mental health both are, correlated?
So I'll tell you in a very brief sentence, maybe, Pratik, and to the
Hmm.
viewers, that humor is the capacity to express or perceive what's funny. It's both a source of entertainment and a means of coping with the difficult or awkward situation and stressful situations. Although it provokes laughter, humor can be serious business. From its most light-hearted forms to its more absurd ones, humor can play an instrumental role in forming social bonds and releasing tension. I'm sure it is going to be a very helpful session if we hear it from someone who is an expert in it.
Absolutely. Dee. So, since our main focus is on humor today, let's begin by inviting the one and only Mr. Chris, a comedian who has been featured on over 60 comedy festivals in the US since 2006. He's written 3 books, including How to Build a Comedy Scene from Scratch, released this year, which is currently released this year, I think this year only, yeah. And today he uses art form to help others be more charismatic communicators through his company called Hell Yes Creative. So let's invite Chris True. Yeah, Chris is here with us. Hey Chris, how are you?
Hey everybody, how are we doing? Good to see you. Good morning or good
Yeah,
afternoon
good
and
to
good
see you
night.
too. I see it's quite a bright morning over here, and it's dark night over here. So how are you, man?
I am so good. I am happy to be here. So grateful for the opportunity to talk about this stuff. And yeah, I'm excited. How about you? How are y'all?
We are really good. We are really good. We were really excited to get along with you and get to know a lot of things about humor and everything.
Awesome. Awesome. Let's do it. Let's do it.
That's excellent. Sriyari, what do you like to say about Chris? Seeing him for the first time.
No, I'm not seeing for the first time. I would like to say good morning, Chris. I'm sure it's morning out there.
Yes, it's 10:30 or 10 a.m. in the morning. So,
Oh,
but all good. You know what? I'll get up early for y'all. I'm excited. I'm here. It's not that early. I'm good.
Great. So I think first thing I would like to hear from you is, and we all would like to hear from you, is about improve. If
Yeah,
you could
so
throw some light.
sure. So what I do is I perform and teach improv comedy, and improv comedy is getting up on stage without a plan for what you're going to say, but having a plan for how you're going to go about communicating. So you basically, the way it works is you establish a communication rhythm between you and the people you're on stage with, and it keeps the energy up, it keeps the action positive, and the same techniques that help people do funny improv also help you be a better communicator. So that's the reason why I've often found myself in business settings or working one-on-one with clients to help them be more charismatic communicators because they want to use improv techniques to do so. So improv is very it's a very diverse art form. Like you can use it for a lot of different reasons. And many people take improv classes because they want to improve their own mental health. They want to be better listeners. They want to just be more playful people. So improv does so much for you. And on top of that, it's so much fun.
Right.
Well, absolutely. It's definitely fun to, have a holistic development, being, improve mentally and especially with humor as well. That's really, inspiring to know.
So humor itself is adding. So I think humor is added on when you are a good listener. So when you are talking about improv, I think it is more about improving your listening skills as well, becoming a more better communicator.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Because you can't be a good communicator if you're not giving the person you're talking to the respect and the space to be heard. So in improv, if I were to ignore you and just do my own thing, I would look I would look mean. I would look rude. It would not be fun for you. So in improv, we want to be very listenable. We also want to be very just make sure we're always being the best listener possible. And it's funny because people don't think about comedy as being something that you need to be a good listener for, but it actually is true. Like to be good at anything, I mean, you have to be a good listener no matter what. So in comedy, it's a really cool thing to prioritize because it's it works in life and on stage. So hopefully I demonstrate some good listening skills with you two today on this call. Hopefully you feel heard, and I know that I will because you're a good show host. I can tell already.
Thank you. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Chris. And definitely I'm going to subscribe to your channel as well, Chris. I've seen,
Oh,
yeah. So, Chris, talking about your journey towards this comedy and everything, so could you describe the feelings you were going through when you first performed at the stage? Most
Oh,
of the people, yeah, most of the
well, the
people have the
first
kind of stage fear, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and that's very normal. So if anyone is watching and is interested in doing comedy, just know it's very normal to be nervous the first time you get on stage. It's something that I try to remind all of my students and myself if I ever need to is that in the context of a comedy show, people are there to have a good time. They want to laugh. They want to have fun. So you don't have to convince somebody to have fun. They already want to do that. So you have to be yourself. You have to just be true to your own authentic self and just own the moment and just try and raise your confidence as much as possible, which is tough. I mean, because people have all kinds of things going on up here that may slow them down or make them feel like they are less, like less prepared for it. But it's very common. The more you do it, the easier it gets. The first time I did it, I was so nervous, so nervous. But when you get off stage, you feel like when you get off stage, you feel like you can't wait to go back. You can't, like you get almost addicted to the feeling, the energy of being on stage. And that's true for all kinds of performers, whether you're a DJ on stage, what's up, DJ Julio, or if you are a poet, or if you're a singer, whatever you are, you get a little bit nervous every time. It just gets really small sometimes. And the nervous energy is the same thing as excitement. So those things blend in really well together.
Great. Okay. So basically, if you say, I think I would relate to this that yes, it is relatable. The nervous energy and being on stage, both are addictive. So both are on the similar grounds. Now, as you said about the stage and your experience on stage, I would like to know, like every professional field goes through a specific rough patch in their life. So being a comedy coach must have been a tough job because it involves a lot of listening and being your authentic self, being you, as you have already spoken. So it's a tough job as well, right? And again, it is not seen as a conventional career choice, especially in India. I'm not aware about your place, but in India, definitely it is not seen as a conventional career choice. So would you like to discuss your rough patch and how did you deal with it?
Yeah, so it's probably a little more conventional here in the United States than it is in India, but it's still not that conventional. So it's still kind of new territory. There's some stigma with teaching comedy. A lot of people think that you're either funny or you're not, but they don't realize that it's still a muscle that you can work. You can find out what your version of funny is. And a lot of the people that I work with feel funny and they're interested in it, but they don't know what to do next. They don't know how to come up with a plan to pursue this creative side of them. Some of them just need encouragement. Some of them need, the instructions on how to actually do it. And some people are starting from absolute scratch. They have nothing, but they want to do it so bad. So my clients range from all over the place in terms of what they are trying to learn comedy for. Sometimes they want to be a performer. Sometimes they want to use the techniques to be a better business person, to be a better writer or communicator. But yes, it is not conventional. Like what I do is not conventional, nor is doing comedy. Like most people are terrified of being on stage, speaking in front of people. Most people have no interest at all in doing that. So across the board, from every angle, it is non-conventional.
Okay. So, great. So, yeah,
Now
Pratik.
I came to know my version of funny. What is my version of funny? Now, in fact, I think that if I was born in US, I would have been more funnier now. You know. So, talking about being funny, so is there any difference between being funny and having a humor? If yes,
Oh,
how?
yeah, that is a really great question. So I think that the difference is having a sense of humor, I think means that you can absorb and listen and acknowledge when things are funny. You maybe have a more lighthearted mindset. You are just easier going. I think but the difference is if you are funny, I think you can conduct jokes. Like you can perform, you can make people laugh whenever you want. You know how to construct a joke. You know how to write funny scripts. But a sense of humor is more like you're good at absorbing it and you can acknowledge it. But I think both are great to have. I would argue, I'm now realizing this right now in this moment. This is happening live right now in my head. Maybe you're born with a sense of humor, but you can learn how to be funny.
I'm sorry, I did not get that part. We are born with a sense of humor, but
So this is new. I'm just now thinking of this. So I'm saying you're born with a sense of humor. So maybe you are born with the ability to like acknowledge when something is funny and understand what funny is, but you can learn how to be funny. You can learn techniques on how to be funny.
can you give us a tip on how to become funny?
Yeah, well, I think the first thing is you have to really learn who you are. You have to learn what your authentic self is and figure out what makes you laugh. And then you need to like almost like break it open and look at the inside of it and be like, what makes this funny? Is it the situation? Is it the reactions? Is it the is it that it was so absurd? It was like over the top? Is it so weird? Like, what is it that makes it funny? And then you like pull it apart, and then you can use those same techniques to make other things funny. So I know this is a lot of like academic style answers here, but you could also take an improv class. Like, sign up for an improv class, take a sketch comedy writing class. These are all things that will teach you the nuts and bolts of making jokes happen.
So I can now say that when a person comes for therapy sessions or is undergoing a certain issue, we try to break their issues down and help them get aware of themselves. So this, being trying to be humor or learning how to become humorous can be a part of a therapy as well.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. I totally agree. I mean, a lot of people take comedy classes as a form of therapy. Now, if you are having a problem, a therapist is a much better place to go to. Like, don't stop going to therapy. Like, go get therapy. But a comedy class is a form of it because it makes you feel, it makes you practice being in the moment. It makes you practice presence. It makes you be a good listener, like I keep saying. And it just is really good for your mental health to learn an art form like improv.
Absolutely, Chris. Living in the moment, you forget all the past and bad things which happened to you, and suddenly become so happy, and you're like, oh my God, I'm so happy right now. That's really true. That's really true. Now, I would
Yeah.
like to know about stage fright, Chris. So basically, what we say is stage fright is the biggest fear for most people. How can one overcome it from the perspective of a comedian?
Yeah. So if you're a comedian, well, if you want to do comedy and you have stage fright, then I mean, the best thing you can do is just, I mean, you just got to like face your fears and embrace that it's not for everybody, and understand are that you are a unique human who has this specific gift, and to share it you have to overcome the stage fright. So you got to like face your fears and just move forward with it. And I know it's easier said than done. It's easy for me to sit here and say, just go and do it, just face your fears. I know that, I know, but that really is the core of it. You have to figure out how you can face your fears. And um, maybe it's taking care of your own mental health before you go up on stage. Maybe you have some sort of mantra or warm up that you do for yourself. Like, there's something that you tell yourself. Is there some certain music you listen to? And every time you hear it, you know you're about to do something scary. So it's like before your presentation, before your meeting, before a first date, before whatever, you listen to the same song every time. And that gets your head right. That gets you in the right place to go and tackle that fear. That's what I would say if you have stage fright.
Great. And if you ever get the chance, Chris, to meet your younger self, what advice would you like to give him?
I would say, Chris, don't worry about your facial hair. You're going to have the biggest beard when you get older. You're going to have the biggest beard. Stop stressing out and worrying about your face. Most of it's going to be covered. When you're older, most of it's going to be covered. And also, don't wait too long to accomplish your dreams. Don't wait too long to do the thing that means the most to you. The earlier you get started, the sooner you'll figure it out, and pursue every single one of your interests. Pursue all of them. You like basketball, you like writing, pursue all of them. Smush them together. Do 2 at once. Can you combine your interests? And just don't wait. Just don't wait. And you're going to have a really, really nice beard.
Right.
So, talking to Chris was a wonderful experience, and we are also glad to announce that Chris is officially a part of Perself. And if anyone is looking for a counseling session with him, can reach out to us at Perself. Yeah.
Yeah, I am really excited. I believe that people who are interested in comedy should figure out how to pursue it, and really it can feel like it can be a really nice positive change for your mental health. So I really pursue people, I encourage people to pursue learning comedy in a way that makes sense for you. And I'm happy to be the one to help you out. I think, comedy can really save a lot of lives. It can really change your perspective on living a healthy, fun life, no matter where you are in the world. So yeah, thank you for having me. It's been a lot of fun.
Thank you so much, Chris. Chris, do you have anything to tell to the audience today before winding up?
Well, thank you. I want to thank you too for having me. This was a ton of fun. It's only 10 a.m. where I am, but I would have gotten up at 5 a.m. for you two. I would have gotten up so early if you asked me to. I would have done it whenever you wanted me to. So thank you. This is a ton of fun. And yeah, if you like this, and
We are not
make sure
going to tell you goodbye right now. We are going to ask the viewers some questions right now. Is that
Okay,
fine
cool,
to
cool.
you?
Oh, yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So yeah, viewers, the chat box is open. You can ask any question you want. The waiting game begins.
Probably this time the viewers are analyzing and trying to create humor on their own or testing their own skills.
Yeah, well, you know what? You guys don't have to be, your question doesn't have to be funny. Your question can just be a question. It's all good.
Right. Grabbing in the opportunity is difficult for people out here, I guess.
Mm. Come on, y'all. What's the questions? What are the questions? Give me some questions. Here we go. Or if no one wants to ask questions right now, if you guys are going to put this on if you're going to save this and keep it on your profile, then I'm happy to answer whatever questions later too. If you want to send me a DM. Ooh, what was my first emotion when I first performed? I was really, my first emotion, my first ever show, I was really, really excited because I had thought about it so much. Maybe I was too excited because I made it a really, really big deal. And if I would have known that I was going to end up doing thousands of shows, and that was just one out of thousands, then I wouldn't have thought it was that big of a deal, right? So I was really, really nervous, but I wish I was a little bit less nervous, but you can't go back and change the past. Thank you for that question. There's another one here. What do I think about dark humor? I think there's a place for all kinds of humor. It's all about context. You can't go and do dark humor in the middle of the day at a fundraiser show with a bunch of senior citizens eating lunch. You can't do dark humor there, but you can do dark humor in like a movie where they are, it's almost expected that it's going to be a little bit of a different type of funny. So it's all about context. You can do any kind of humor you want anywhere you want. It just you have to know your audience. Has to be all about context. Thank you, Brush Ben. Brush.Ben. What other questions do we have, y'all? Let's do it. Let's do it.
I see you're ready.
Yeah.
No, I am sure like right now, either people are going off to sleep because it is around 9 p.m. out here.
Yeah. Oh, there's one more question. Can a sad event of life produce a funny improv? Well, yeah, I think a lot of people cope with sadness, like use humor to cope with sadness. So you have to be careful. You don't want to make light of it. You're not making fun of something, but certainly there are funny things in all aspects of life. And the more tension there is in a situation, the more potential there is for laughter. So if everyone is like all bottled up, all these emotions are bottled up because you're feeling really sad, and if you can find the right joke or the right perspective, it can act as like a release. It's like that exhale, that release of all that pent up feelings and emotions. So yes, the answer is yes. It's hard, but the reward is great. It's definitely possible. I think jokes and being funny has a place no matter what. It's just the difficulty level can just get really high. That's the only thing. Good question, Brush Ben. You're my best friend.
So, Chris, here I would like to give you a hypothetical situation.
Okay.
And yeah, so this is impromptu. So, if, for example, like we saw that in the world right now, COVID scenario was going on, and people are facing a lot of losses, a fear. So, most important thing that we are facing today is the human fear, that the fear of coming in contact with any human being, right?
Right.
So, some people are facing it to an extent that they are not even being able to come out of their home, right? So, if, say, for example, I am that particular person, I am very much fearful and I'm not able to go out of my home. So, how can I add humor to this particular event?
Okay, so how can you add humor to a situation where you don't want to ever leave your house? Well, okay. There's a couple of different ways to answer this. I think that one, there's lots of ways to virtually learn comedy and to feel that sense of community. I mean, look at us. We're across the world right now. We are in two different places. We're very far apart, and we are connecting, and we're having fun. We're laughing. We are learning about comedy. So there's that. I would like to lean on technology to help with that. But you can also dig real deep and find what is funny about this. What is funny? Like, is there anything funny about the situation that you don't want to leave your house now? Like, was there a time, like, did you ever want to leave your house? Have you always been this way? And now the pandemic just like enables you to stay put. So like, that can be like, you can find something. Say what?
Say, for example, it's just the pandemic.
Yeah. So you can, I mean, yeah, you can connect with people. Excuse me. You can connect with people online. You can learn comedy techniques online. You can write jokes about what is happening. Like what is different about your life since you can't go outside? What like and what is funny or interesting about that, it's tough because it's something that the whole world is going through right now. And so it can be tough to be like, how do I make that funny? And you have to make it really personal. Like the more personal it is to your experience, the better of a chance you have to make that funny. So it's tough, but it's possible.
So can you give us an example from your end?
Yeah. So an example of like being funny during the pandemic.
Right.
Well, yeah. So I think about the people so here in the United States, there's a lot of people who don't like to wear the mask. They don't like to wear the mask covering their face. And so it's like, I think it's really funny the way that people they like pretend to wear the mask. So like they have it on their face, but they actually have it pulled down right here.
Yeah, right.
And so
That is true.
it's like, what are you doing? Just don't even wear. It would be like wearing a seatbelt, like around your forehead, like if you're driving a car. It's like, see, I have it on. See, it's like, yeah, but it's not going to protect you. It's like a mask right here. It's like, yeah, you have it on, but it's not going to protect you.
Okay.
It's like buying vegetables, like buying a salad and then like putting it on your head and being like, see, I have my vegetables. Like, no, you're not doing it right. You have to eat it. So like, I mean, I just made that up, but like, that's an example of like a pandemic inspired joke where it's like people are just doing it wrong. And so then our job as comedians, as funny people, is to be like, well, what else is like this? That's where I came up with the idea for the seatbelt. You know, it's like, what else is like this to make it relatable?
Great. Interesting. I just took a test. So
Well, you got good.
I think we have had enough of questions. We did have few more questions if you want to take up.
You have more questions?
I think I did see one.
Yeah,
Can
there was one in
humor
the
be a
chat.
defense?
Oh, I see. From my best friend, Brush Ben. Brush Ben, can humor be a defense mechanism? Yeah, for sure. People use humor a lot to deflect and to not really like deal with the current situation. So it can be something that deflects, you know, that's like not now but later, which is not necessarily a good thing. I mean, it can be a good thing if in the moment you're not in the right mental space for you know to deal with it. It can be a good way to like be present and deflect. But if you were deflecting everything, if you were always playing defense, I don't think that's good. It can't be good to always be playing defense.
Right. So it can act as a defense mechanism as well.
It totally can. I would just be careful to not do that all the time.
Prateek?
Yeah, so Chris, I was totally lost in the year humor, you know. You completely preoccupied my mind and were like, okay, fine, I found a way to laugh. And I'm sure our audience, you know, today they laughed a lot and they found a, you know, new way to live things, to live life. And we're really, you know, happy to have you here and thanks for enlightening our audience, you know, with your humorous content and your big beard. You know, it's come something really new, I see. Yeah, you can make different shapes out of it. Uh-huh. That
Yeah,
is
see.
true. Yeah.
Okay,
But I would
Chris.
definitely like to
So
see you
Prateek
without beard.
was actually talking only about your beard. When he came to know that we are going to come live with you, so he was only talking about your beard.
That's really funny as well. That makes you funny.
Thank you.
Right. Anyways,
So
it was
thank you,
great
Chris.
connecting with you. Thank you so much. We would like to stay connected. And
Yeah.
Yes.
In
yeah,
fact,
I
we are
think
connected.
we should say have a great day there. And to our viewers, we can say have a good night
Have a
now.
good night and have a bright day ahead. Have a good day ahead.
I
Wish you good
will.
luck for today. Yeah.
Yes.
Magic humor.
Thank you, Chris, for being with us and stay safe. Take care.
Yes. You too. Thank you. Thank you all for
Yeah.
watching.
Thank you. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Chris. I think we can end this session now. Goodbye.
Goodbye.